Hi everybody, Stuart's just being obscene just before we start. He does it every
As
time.
always, I know.
So let me introduce Stuart and James, who are my Christopher Nolan beards, because I refuse to go and see the film at the moment. I'll wait till it's bootlegged or something. But they have seen it, so all the nerdy little Nolan fanboys who can't, deal with the fact someone can comment about the cultural significance of a film rather than the film itself. I'll probably take a bit of a, I'll take a back seat today, but I'll probably try and boss you about. And
It's not your nature, Paul.
yeah, not my nature. But anyway,
Main character syndrome.
do you want to introduce yourselves to the Great Unwashed, and then you two can lead off because you actually have seen the abomination. I'm just calling it an abomination. So, Stuart.
Hi, I'm Stuart. My channel's Digital Aporia. I write about technology, how it's messing the world up, and cinema as well. And I do the Proust In Search of Lost Time podcast with Paul. We do usually do that every 2 weeks, looking into was it the longest novel in the English language?
I think so. Someone's probably written a really bad one just so it's longer.
Some AI generated one, yeah. in Search of Lost Context.
And the Barry White impersonating James.
Hello. I'm
go.
James Cox. I run the YouTube channel Coxie's Making Videos, and I normally talk nonsense about media. Recently, I've been doing politics, which has bored the arse off me, so I've gone back to media now, thankfully. And yeah, I normally come in and try to chat wise with these two, but obviously they're the big brains, and I'm just the Luddite that sits in the corner and goes, yeah, most of the time.
James, don't put yourself down.
That's
Why
my
not?
job.
You need to go for a therapy session with Charlize Theron.
Well, at least you'd be trying to look after me.
Shall we
Just
start
be
with
doing it
that?
for my benefit.
Since you've led into that, Stuart, because this is the point I want to make, is that anything I refer to, I've seen snippets, I've obviously seen the trailers, I have watched a whole load of reviews to get a sense of where people are going. So for my part, I'm obviously not going to say, oh, I don't like that scene, I haven't seen. What I am going to say is, if I mention plot developments or plot adaptations, they're either factually true or they're not true. So in the Charlize Theron relationship with Matt Damon in the film, am I correct in saying it is basically like a psychotherapeutic encounter, and she drugs him so he can forget? And I've mentioned it, you can see it in my alias today. There is a thing whereby in the original, he's having 7 years of ecstatic making the beast with two backs with Calypso, and also he gets jiggy with Cersei. And from everything I've read, and you correct me if I'm wrong, this isn't a major theme of the book. It's mostly him whinging, talking about feelings and all these ridiculous things that a genuine man, a hairy Greek man, would not talk about. Is that right?
That is exactly right, Paul. Christopher Nolan. 100%. Yeah, 100%.
In that exact context and everything. You've just boxed that off really nicely.
Absolutely. I mean, there's been talk on online forums that this film is Christopher Nolan's Trojan horse. The two trailers that were released were basically Trojan horses. He sent us in one direction. He's the master of cinematic magic and sleight of hand. That's his big thing. This is what he's done with the trailers. So we think we're getting one picture, and then when you go into the cinema to see it, it's like, okay. And he has almost like inverted. I wouldn't even say subverted. He's just flipped what we would consider. We got onto this later. What is the authentic Odyssey? What is the original version? I don't believe there's an authentic original version. It's gone through so many transmutations over time. But what Nolan seems to be deliberately doing here is completely inverting the general consensus of the Odysseus myth. So instead of being a trickster, a clever, like you say, strong, ideal of masculinity, we do have more of the modern male PTSD therapy. And that's not criticism from my point, but if people go in thinking we are going to see Action Man, like there's going to be action, but the main character isn't going to be the Odysseus that you think. And I think that's the sleight of hand that's gone on here. So that scene with Charlize Theron, we have moved from 7 years of passion with a demigod to tell me about your feelings, tell me what happened, of a very broken man.
Well, it's also Calypso. Correct me if I'm wrong, because you all know better than me. Isn't she kind of a bit broken herself? Isn't she kind of a little bit? She's trying to get over her own trauma, isn't she? She's trying to keep hold of Odysseus just as much as he's kind of enjoying his time with her. Is that right in the original sort of Homer text? I thought
she's a goddess, and she does whatever she wants, and she has her own plot of land, and she's this pioneering goddess who's a bit of all that, and she does fall in love with him. No, she wants him. She's needy. Yeah. But I can relate to this. You get in a relationship, women need you, they lose all self-respect. All of this happens, but she's not herself a basket case.
No. But what I mean is she's desperate to keep hold of him because she has lost, and she's like, isn't she being punished for something? Am I remembering the Odyssey wrong?
Yeah, everyone's punished for everything. But as an actual film,
the film is so different because she is like a amateur psychiatrist who's basically just trying to look after him, and she's doing everything for Odysseus's benefit, and she's drugging him. Sorry. We probably should say spoiler alert.
No. This is what.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry to interrupt. A spoiler alert for a 3,000-year-old story.
Well, it's a 3,000-year-old story which has been changed.
If you haven't seen it, no, we're going to spoil it.
That's it. Like spoiler
James, you're talking to someone who told his students to watch Breaking Bad and The Sopranos and all these series. And after I knew they'd watched about 3 whole series, I told them the ending of all these.
That's just bullying that.
No. That made up for my lack of salary. These are anyway. The rest of it is spoilers. Don't worry about spoilers. Spoilers. So
essentially, she's using the Lotus to drug Odysseus to make him forget where his crew is, who he is really. Basically, the whole Odyssey to that point. And the Lotus Eaters aren't in it at all. There's loads of like glaring sort of. We're just not going to involve them, or we're just not going to talk about this for too long. We're just going to step over things. We're just going to show you like the highlight reel of like the Odyssey. Essentially, there's some bits of the Cyclops is in it quite a lot, and it's pretty good. Although there's some issues with it as well. But a lot of it is kind of like mishmashed or just kind of crammed together, or just not talked about at all, or repurposed. So Calypso is drugging Odysseus to make him forget because she feels sorry for him, essentially, and it's kind of like. I mean, I've only seen it once. I'm trying to remember something I saw a few days ago and was also taking notes for. But it's kind of like she's trying to do it for his benefit. She's trying to do it to help him. And there doesn't really seem to be anything selfish in it for her. She doesn't have any kind of real benefit apart from the fact that she just kind of likes him. She looks
concerned. Yeah. You don't get the sense of a romantic or lusty relationship. No. She's just there, like looking at him.
They're just like, constantly walking.
Man, you're really fucked up, man. Have another Lotus leaf. It really.
Oh, let's have some fish as well. Like, I'll just watch some fish. That was weird. I kept thinking, like,
why do you want to leave?
What's going on?
She's there, like smashing a fish. Like, why do you want to leave? You got everything you want here. You got me. You got fish.
Someone in the comments is saying she was banished. I will check on this, but my memory is this is the thing about myths. There are competing versions. But my memory is that she went there to the island of her own accord and was just a very independent-minded nymphomaniac.
Yeah, see, I thought Calypso was banished. I've just caught up with the chat. Yeah, I thought she was...
Right, well, I might be wrong, but my memory was that no, this is my point about she's a very self-affirming... But there'll be other variants. It's like if you read Metamorphoses, that it refers to myths that have so many variants.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
but we can all agree the film does not makes her look needier than the original. I'm guessing is a safe assumption.
They don't do her justice at all. She's kind of a bit of a damp squib, I thought, in the film.
She's a sounding board. Yeah. She is that kind of counselor-patient relationship of just like he's there, like, oh, I can't remember what happened. I can't remember, and it's like. She kind of eases it out of him, like, oh, is it that you don't remember, that you don't want to remember? And I would kind of push back a little bit about the idea that she's feeding him the Lotus. I think by the time we see him, he's almost like feeding it to himself.
Well, he's addicted, isn't he? He's chomping it down. She says, "No more, not tonight, and tomorrow." Is
this where I do Robert Palmer, Addicted to Love, in the background?
Yeah,
she's at home.
The Lotus.
Nice.
in my black pencil skirt.
Ooh.
No. No.
So yeah, I think it's a bit.
But James,
washed
can I
over.
ask you, when you first came out, because you're a bit that you were. Well, this is one of the ironies. Before, like I say, any Christopher Nolan fanboys get their lederhosen in a twist. I've just got this image if that's what they were. But I used to. Well, I did. On my channel, I've done a whole video on what was it? The Memento.
Yeah.
That's ironic.
we
I
talked
forgot
about
the
it, didn't
title of Memento. So I've done a couple of videos on Memento. I was heaping it with praise. I've always. I don't think he's as good as he's hyped up to be, but I've never really criticized Christopher Nolan. And
Same.
there just seems to be such a backlash to the backlash. It's the nature of the internet, I'm sure. But when you first went to it, we all had quite positive, vibes towards it until we started seeing things and being doubtful. But you came out, and what I'm curious to ask you is, you came out the cinema, and your initial text to us two were you quite liked it.
Well, I
And
didn't
then
hate
over
it.
time, well, I'll dig out the email. But you basically said I liked it more than I thought, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I get the sense, correct me if I'm wrong, that as time went by and you ruminated a bit, you liked it less.
I think I liked it more once I'd ruminated a little bit more, but I still don't like it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 10, and I stand by that because I think there's so many glaring issues with the film, but nearly all of them happened outside of it. It's like all of the negative stuff about this film happened outside of it. All of the backlash online, all of the trailers and things like that, the hiring of what's being called the sort of DEI cast and that kind of thing. I feel like it was done for the sole purpose of ticking Hollywood checkboxes for Oscar night, but also to drive that negative social media backlash, because the sort of, to call them what people are calling them, the DEI cast, are only in it very, very few and far between in terms of shots, and also Elliot Page and Helen Troy, sorry, I've forgotten the actress's name. They're in it for maybe 8 minutes together, and they're not in it together, but it's sort of Ellen Page, I think, is Elliot Page is 5 minutes, and Helen Troy is about 2 minutes.
But what did the pair of you make about again, I'm going back off all the reviews I've seen, are that it's very episodic and the pace is very frenetic, and it probably could have been better as a 2-part film or even a series.
It should have been a trilogy, but it really should have been a
Yeah.
TV show. I think we said that because we had a little talk, didn't we, after the first trailer came out, and I think we all agreed then, the Odyssey's so hard to cram into one singular film, the one standalone film.
Yeah, there's too much to put in it, and I think the
Yeah.
problem is, it's like you said, that the pacing, it felt like he was so committed to IMAX format. The absolute maximum of a limit you can have for IMAX is 3 hours.
Yeah,
And
2
that's
hours
all.
and
Yeah, for IMAX
40,
film.
isn't it? Something like that. Yeah.
No, they upgraded the projectors to get it to 3 hours. I think it was Oppenheimer. They 3D printed. I think it's like 42 proper IMAX cinemas in the world, something 30, upper 30s, and they 3D printed a little bracket that allowed them to put bigger films on for Oppenheimer.
Yeah. No, I remember you saying that.
So it was 3 hours. So everything he's going to do 3 hours. I think it came in slightly under. It was like 2 hours.
There's the new camera, isn't it? The IMAX Keithley.
Yeah, Keithley camera.
The
Keithley
camera.
Keithley. Keithley, pull it up back.
For non-British people, the Keithley's it's outside Leeds, I'm assuming, because I mentioned on mine.
Next to Skipton, it's an old mill town, kind of industrial town.
But the family are named after, or they share the name with that town, and that's the name given to the latest iteration of the IMAX camera. And there endeth my technical knowledge. I just like saying Keithley.
So saith Dr. Taylor.
Indeed. But yeah,
yeah, go ahead, James.
I was going to say that I think
really
the sort of DEI cast, as they say, probably isn't the biggest issue. I think the American accents are really brutal, and the real issue I have with the Odyssey and why I give it a 4.5 is it's a film. I think I said it in my review on my channel that it's a film that's completely addicted to getting in its own way. Like it will set up like a really immersive scene, a really immersive point in the film, and you go, this is great, I am involved, I am engaged, and then frames later it will just whip you out of it by having someone with a Brooklyn accent go, yeah, we've offended the gods.
Oh my God. Oh my god, man!
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
it's
modern
as big as
language
that.
interwoven with the sort of, classic.
I was going to
That's
save that.
interesting. No, yeah, go ahead, Paul.
I was going to save this to the end, but why not ruin things by just throwing a conversational hand grenade in, which is my want. But
Throw it.
you're my witnesses. I'm not a particularly conspiracy-minded person at all. I'm just not. But I remember seeing there was a Vox Pop I saw on a news item about immigration and stuff, and there's a little old lady in a front garden being interviewed, and she said, "I'm not racist, but I'm getting there." And that's like me with conspiracy theories. I'm not conspiracy-minded at all, but I'm getting there. Because it's almost as if Christopher Nolan's playing four-dimensional chess, and it's like a double bluff, because he's made almost like an auto-critical film about how to vandalize one of Western culture's most important works of art. Knowingly, deliberately, and doing it with the full backing of Hollywood. And to give you an example, at the very beginning, correct me if I'm wrong, the rapper, is it Travis Scott? He comes out with the line, and it's mentioned again by Odysseus to Penelope at the very end of the film. All you'll have, I'm paraphrasing badly, but all you'll have left are songs to remember those who were able to write.
Yeah.
And that is almost Christopher
Wink,
Nolan.
wink.
Yeah, that's almost Christopher Nolan saying, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I am helping to destroy the written legacy. And what you're going to be left with is bad rap.
Yeah.
And this is my legacy. Bye.
Certainly,
What
I think
what I liked about that scene,
on, Stu.
what I liked about that scene very quickly was
it was very short.
It was very short, but just after that, I think there's a line. It says like, "Is Odysseus?" Because we kind of come back to that bit at the end of the film. It's typical Christopher Nolan. We start off with almost like the ending, then we go through the journey, then we come back to that, and then we have the final fight scene. But there's a line. It says, "Is Odysseus here? Is he coming?" And Matt Damon goes, "No, not yet." So it's like I like that because it was kind of like we need to go through the journey. Odysseus needs to go through his journey to get to that scene, where everything is made right, so to speak. So it's definitely got self-referential. It just has all the Nolanisms. It has everything from every single one of his films there. But going back to what you just said, Paul, I think this is one of the issues that people take with it. He's shoehorned his way of doing things into such an important cultural text. And he must be fully aware of what he's doing. And I think the moral message of this film, not making a judgment on it just yet, but the moral message is very preachy. It's very much like, here is a very simple moral message for today, for now, for what's going on in the world right now. And I am not ashamed to make it. And that's, I think...
Except, Stuart, this is where, tell me whether this is just bonkers, because this is where conspiracy theories lead you into madness. But he's bright enough to know he's doing that, and I'm just wondering whether it's almost like
it's like
no. I'm wondering whether it's like Odysseus himself, the height of cunning artifice. Is Nolan, has he produced an actual film that people are perceiving as sincere, but is actually parodying the whole woke agenda? That's the ridiculous conspiracy theory that I'd offer.
I've heard that, and I've heard as well that he's playing 5D chess, and he's made an intentionally bad film so that people read the Odyssey and get into sort of ancient Greek text and stuff.
There's a genuine enigma. No, but whatever the answer is, there's a genuine enigma because it's preachy, but he's made Batman films that are actually have been labelled Republican friendly.
Well,
so it's ambiguous. All the Gotham ideology is that life is red in tooth and claw, and you need the hero we don't deserve. Blah blah blah. You need a vigilante who's going to blow people up to shit.
Yeah,
but that comes from the Alan Moore take on Batman. So is it the Killing Game, the Joker, the Killing Game? There's two comic book guys. Killing Joke, that's it. Yeah. There was Alan Moore, and there was somebody else did another version of Batman that was much more darker, exploring the darker aspect of it. But Alan Moore also did the V for Vendetta graphic novel. Alan Moore, I think he was quite involved in 2000 AD and the Judge Dredd. I mean, Judge Dredd was an exploration of fascism under Thatcher, and it doesn't preach. It doesn't say Judge Dredd is bad. It just presents the character, and it trusts the reader to use their own critical judgment to decide what they want. And I feel that is what the Odyssey is. The Odyssey that we can go and buy in a bookshop is that it presents the story, but it doesn't push a judgment. It doesn't say this is what we want you to think about Odysseus. Things happen in the original poem that a modern reader, doesn't matter if you're left or right political spectrum, would think, yeah, that's not so good. Hanging servants and a bit of the old in out and rape and pillage and stuff. But it's not forced. It's not saying it's not forced down our neck. You have to think this is bad. It's like, here is what happened. Here is the story. Now you make your own judgment.
So can I clarify, Stuart? He wasn't willing to mess with that great literary classic Frank Miller's.
Exactly.
But he was willing to completely subvert and vandalize Homer.
Yeah, it really is.
The conspiracy theories aside, what you can definitely see from Nolan's Odyssey is that it's stripped back all of the gods. I mean, Zeus isn't in it at all. I think he's mentioned once, apart from they constantly could talk about Zeus's law.
Which is a parody of Xenia, which is the idea of hospitality. And he takes liberties with that, because the whole point of Xenia is that if you betray your host's respect, you get everything that's coming to you, which is what happens at the end. So in terms of the Greek mentality, everything that happens to the suitors and the floozy servants who liaise with, it's a bit like reminiscent of the collaborators with the Germans in France when they shaved all the women's heads. But Greek culture completely endorsed what happens at the end. And if that's uncomfortable for modern, wet people who don't believe in consequences anymore, I start my average Friday with hanging servants. This is how life used to be. And the whole point of an old epic is you put yourself in a psychological and cultural space that is alien and threatening to you. And you get a sense, you'll never understand what it was like to listen to it as a Greek or read it, but you get a sense of how alien those cultures are. And that's what's so wrong with, I see it as an extension of cancel culture, because you're cancelling the opportunity to see the world through different, sometimes really offensive eyes. And you get this decaffeinated, etiolated, safe, we all go off into the distance with your wife and don't stay at home and don't live out your days because we're going on another venture like two boomers on an overcrowded cruiser. It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, sorry, I'm getting all wound up.
No, it really was. Paul, you haven't seen the film, but I'm having second thoughts. I'm sure you snuck out and saw it.
That's it.
No, I've seen so many reviews that I feel like, and also I didn't want to see it in the sense that it's actually easier to talk about the plot developments and the plot changes if you're not influenced by the images. So you can tell me at any point if I've misrepresented what actually happens in the film. And it's, I've used the Marshall McLuhan quote about the content of a medium is like the juicy piece of meat for the burglar of the mind. That's what the images do. They distract you from what actually he's doing.
Yeah. Can I talk about Batman? Can I go back to Batman, please?
I'll give you permission. I'm going to ask you a trick question, though. Do you know the Batman reference to the Helen of Troy? There's a Helen of Troy scene that references Batman.
No, I don't.
In this Odyssey?
Yeah. And I'm not claiming
not Agamemnon's armor, is it?
I'm not claiming. No. When he
almost glide.
Tell me if again. Tell me if
Agamemnon. Was it that bit?
When he turns her face and half of it is wounded, that's Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Nice.
She doesn't flip a coin though. That's what Two-Face does.
He doesn't do everything, you tosser. You can't spend 3 hours. Oh, you've picked the one thing in Batman he doesn't do. Oh, you've won the argument, James.
Sorry, I didn't even have to try that time.
Wasn't like a cameo Joker. Joker didn't pop his head up from behind the Trojan horse and say like.
I was looking for it though, weren't you? I was definitely looking for something like. There's going to be a Nolanism somewhere. I was always looking at people's feet because I heard going in that you could see trainers.
I waited to the end. There's
James, you're a foot fetishist. Just be open. Out yourself. Go on. If I
stop trying to out me all the time.
No, seriously. Paul. If I showed, I haven't got them with me. If I showed a hush puppy to the camera, you'd have to run off embarrassed.
We know.
Thought of it.
Attack of the Vapors.
Yeah. But the Marvel films always used to have that little bit at the end, and it got a bit like pastiche. You wait till the end of the credits, and you'd see like what's the next film going to be.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. We did wait to see if there's going to be some sort of like setup for a sequel or something like that. Like thinking something like Antonius will come at the end. I'll get you next time. Odysseus,
what were you going to say about Batman, Stuart? You've distracted yourself.
So Batman's quite interesting. I know. Batman's quite interesting because Nolan was celebrated because he elevated like a low culture, or seen as kind of like I don't want to say trashy culture because comic books have got that respect now. But he elevated a low culture medium into kind of like a highbrow art form or highbrow cinema, auteur cinema. But I think he's done the opposite with the Odyssey. He's taken highbrow culture and he's like knocked it down a notch, and he's taken a fundamental kind of story from the Western canon and he's made it into entertainment. He's made it into a kind of a Benjaminian auraless work of art, or Adorno and Horkheimer, culture industry products. And it's like, I'm sure he's aware of this. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. He's inverting and subverting inversions and subversions in his own work. And I think the high point of his pretentiousness is not a criticism, it's just an observation. The high point,
of his pretentiousness, I'm not criticizing him.
Because he's pretentious. I mean, it was Tenet. I mean, when Tenet came out, it's like he literally...
Stuart, sorry to interrupt you, but give me a sentence in which pretentiousness is a positive attribute.
Dr. Paul Taylor is no go on.
That wouldn't be.
That would be a good
nice, would it, James?
I nearly got
yeah, I'll need to get back to you on that.
Shall I
just insult him? You think he's pretentious, and
yeah, but I like what he does. I mean,
he's pretentious. I like what he does. It's all right.
Sometimes it's just like sometimes like people can be like you can be a bit of an arsehole and you think he's an arsehole, but yeah, okay, he's done some good stuff.
Stuart, will you stop talking about our relationship in front of me?
I think what he did, though, I think your point about him raising up Batman and lowering the Odyssey, I think he did it in the same way. He took the majesty out of both of them. Like he took all of the
he grounded
sort of,
them.
Yeah, he put them into reality as much as he could.
Yeah.
Like Batman, he took out all of the fanciful 1930s Gothic sort of architecture and all the the fact that they're all kind of supervillains that have got all this fantasy behind them. And he did exactly the same thing. Yeah, he did exactly the same thing to the Odyssey. He took the gods out. He took the notion of the Lotus being something that's like mythical, just made it a drug essentially.
Yeah.
He's basically tried to ground everything in reality, and he's also kind of
says at the start, it's that sentence at the start, in a time of apparent magic. The first thing we see on the screen is a sentence, in a time of apparent magic.
So that's what I think he's really good at, is making, to call what the sort of critical drinker and nerd erotic types would call the normies. He's kind of doing it in a way that is attainable and accessible to people, to make it feel like this is how we think. Like this is how, like in Batman, in Gotham, it's just they're supervillains that are mentally ill. Or in the Odyssey, it's not the gods, it's how people are superstitious. And it's kind of it kind of levels the playing field for people. I think that's why Nolan is quite successful at doing it. I think he does it with Memento as well. Memento. I'm trying to think of. I thought of it earlier, but I've forgotten it. I should have written it down. There's an example in Memento where he does the same thing. He kind of makes it. I suppose it's kind of the lead character's struggle, isn't it? Like you'd put yourself into that sort of scenario, and how would you react to it? I think he's very good at doing that.
There's a guy in the chat, Owen, sorry to interrupt, but the guy in the chat, Owen, just said that I won't use his word. It's worse than pretentious, but he's hijacked a piece of literature. This is, what's his name, Nolan, for his own means, but I actually love the movie on its own merit. And that is something, a sentiment. I wish, I've just got like a brain aneurysm arguing with people online in the last couple of days, trying to explain to them. I am not talking about the movie, because it could be. I'll give you an example. If you took the Acropolis, the rock, the stone they built it from, have you ever seen Italian modernist architecture in the age of Mussolini? There's some gorgeous. It's weird. It's stark and it's bare, but it's beautiful. You could take stone from the Acropolis and produce a building on the same site as the Acropolis that looked like a Mussolini beautiful building. The building that you built might be beautiful, but it would still be cultural vandalism. You've just destroyed the Acropolis. Mm-hmm. And that's my point. Yes, it's perfectly legitimate to say it's a wonderful film in its own terms. Yeah. And this is where people might say, yeah, well, that's where it ends. But for me, it's the abuse of the original. And I think there are two separate issues. And I just wish people would, like, Owen seems to get it, but I wish more people would be able to differentiate. I don't think it's the most nuanced, subtle point in the world. People struggle to have two ideas in their head at the same time. Enjoy the film. It's like the Catholic thing. Judge the sin, not the sinner. Judge the cultural vandalism as vandalism, but enjoy the film. I think that's perfectly possible.
And
playing devil's advocate,
you have to do that with this film as well, because there's so much to love about it. There's one shot that is still in my head. I've only seen the film once, but there's a shot that's still in my head that I'm like, that was just a wonderful shot, a wonderful piece of cinema. It's when Odysseus is sailing away from Hades, and I don't know if you remember, Stuart, that shot of the dead soldiers on the beach, and they're in rows, and they're all shrouded in fog. I thought that was wonderful.
That was one they filmed in Iceland, wasn't it? It was one of the volcanic deltas. But being devil's advocate, Paul.
Yeah, go on. Go on, you little devil. Go on.
There's loads of stuff. I know. I'm going to spike you in my pitchfork bit, but I'm going to throw this out to you. I've been thinking about it. What is the original Odyssey, though? Because I spent a good few hours today tracing all the changes that can be kind of archaeologically and literary kind of changes that have been made over the 2,000 years plus from the original. I think it's in what's the language? It was kind of pre-Phoenician Greek, before the Phoenicians or before the Greeks inherited Phoenician.
Linear B was preceded.
Linear B, that's it. So there was some evidence of these stories, but even during the time of Linear B, it was mainly an oral tradition. And even I think
Linear B was basically a scribal. It's a fascinating subject in and of itself. Linear B was what the scribes used basically for accounts and administration, and it died out because there were various disasters and the Mycenaean culture went through turmoil, and because it was limited to so many few educated scribes, they lost the written ability, and then they eventually borrowed the Phoenician alphabet, and literacy started off again. So there's loads of analogies you could make. This is what I was saying about 4D chess. I think Nolan realizes literacy is on its knees, and he's contributing to it. And in the film, he's almost portraying the process. But to get to your point, and I've addressed it. People then come back at me and go, "Oh yes, but it was an oral. It wasn't, No, the whole point was Homer, whoever he was, if he even existed, represents the codification, the writing down of an immensely disparate oral tradition that was spontaneous. There were standard lines, but then they'd add their own, they'd riff. But the point is, Homer's, whoever it was, that text became the codified sample. And from that, and then people like Alexander Pope and there's a guy called Chapman messed around with it. People have done various things. The Aeneid is a Roman take, but that was state politically sponsored. That was state propaganda.
Johann Winkelmann as well. Winkelmann was the guy who I think he was obsessed with, I think he was homosexual and he was obsessed with the marbles, like the white marble and the shape of the male form and stuff like that. And he brought into kind of a lot of homoeroticism into the Greek myths, or he expanded and pushed it. So there's so many different.
Well, I was having this.
Ulysses, James Joyce as well. I mean, James Joyce does something very different with it as well. So there's different takes.
Yeah, but I'm glad you mentioned him because I'm going to do something on James Joyce. But the difference of all of these people is I had this argument online with someone, or discussion, it was verging on both. But there is this issue about, he was saying, there are all these variations of what is the true Homer. My response is, they were textual variations. And you could compare line by line and see the differences.
Yeah.
And the Aeneid, for example, was a state-sponsored, again, to repeat, state-sponsored propaganda that is obviously, it's called something different, has some different characters. So yes, they drew upon the Odyssey, but they didn't deliberately use the name, use most of the plot, and subvert certain aspects ideologically.
Yeah.
They did obvious, so Pope turned it into this iambic pentameter, rhyming couplet nonsense, or whatever he did. He changed the format, and all the changes were obvious. And none of that argument addresses what cinema does to a classic work of literature is something different. You're taking it into a different medium.
It's a different medium, yeah.
And that's the danger. If someone, I was looking at another review and someone said quite succinctly, which I wish I could be more succinct, basically said, it would be great if everyone came out of the cinema and ran off and read the original. But they won't. They'll say, I've seen the Odyssey.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's what winds people like me up so much.
Yeah. Fair play.
Yeah. No. And like I say, this interpretation, I mean, he's being... I'll have to look it up. Apologies. Is it Emily Wilson?
Yeah. Oh,
it's
horrendous.
Nolan's kind of being...
it's the Odyssey written by Millie Tand.
Yeah. I don't know if he's directly done it, but I think a lot of what he's taken is being associated to what Wilson did with her.
Yeah, but
it is, there's been that link made.
I don't know if...
No, that's part of it, James.
Is.
No, her translation is awful and it's ideologically driven, but she doesn't take the absolute liberties he does with the actual plot.
Right.
So that's the distinction I'd make. Yes, it's awful, her translation. It's ideologically driven, but she doesn't reinvent a happy ending.
No. Well, I mean, I wouldn't know because I haven't read any of her work, but certainly the translation that I've read when I was younger, and the one that I've kind of gone back and listened to recently because Audible gave me 3 months free, so I went and listened to the version that's read by Ian McKellen, which is really good. It's definitely changed from that, Nolan's work. And again, like you say, how much credit and how much credence do you give to someone for it being an adaptation? Because it's not, like you say, for our modern time, and the fact that this is a very recent film, it's a very big film. It's done extremely well so far in its opening weekend. And for the
it's
people
going to
that
break records, yeah.
I don't know if it'll break records.
Can I
It's gonna
talk
do very
about that?
well. Let's see.
I think that's important.
My point.
Sorry, James. Sorry, I'll let you go. I won't heckle you. I won't interrupt you
I've
again.
got my foot down. Normally, I just let you go. But I've got my foot down now, and I'm going to say I've forgotten what I was going to say. Thanks, Paul.
This is like BDSM. I'm really. Go on, tell me off again, James.
No, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction.
Sorry, James. You mentioned the financial success, and that's when I rudely interrupted you.
Well, I was going to say it's done very well so far, and I was telling you before a comment on Instagram post that I made, and somebody accused me of saying it was going to flop, and I said I never said that. No, I don't think anybody's actually said it will flop. I just think people don't like the direction it went in. But essentially,
it's not the first time someone said that to you, though, is it, James?
No, everyone says that all the time, unfortunately.
It will flop.
Well, it's the story of my life. But it's very much the case that, like you say, people will think this is the Odyssey.
Stuart's not paying attention.
Told, as it was always told.
On the screen.
And that's my point, which has been rudely interrupted.
Sorry, I've interrupted it again, James.
I'll just go back to the corner now.
James, if it's any consolation, I actually, in that interchange, I annoyed myself.
That's all right, then.
So I apologise profusely. I've had too many coffees.
Can I give you all a laugh? I'm going to put this on the stage.
Don't get it out. Oh.
Why is this funny?
Comments. No, it's just the point about appropriation and criticism of appropriation and how it's kind of all gone full circle, especially linking it into the DEI casting, and it's just all a big mess, really. So apparently, this is from today. It's one of the premieres in London. She's worn some contentious ethnic jewelry that was created from a stolen hoard of Iranian treasure that was smuggled out of the country, I think in the 1960s. She said she wasn't going to wear it or something like that. So it's just some not archaeology. Yeah, some archaeologists sold it to jewelers or something like that, and they used some of the gold in it to make jewelry out of it. And it's only for decoration, but she's basically, I think she's rented it, and she's gone to the premiere with it. And
can I ask a more prosaic question? Does she have given that she's an actress paid millions of dollars, does she have any other facial expression
No.
other than I've just smelt something really bad?
This film is
She's
the
like
greatest.
an angry cat.
This film is the greatest example of that because there's a whole montage of her scowls. The whole point of like what people raise about her is that she just does that.
She had a reason to scowl though in the film. If you get to know what her character is, she did have a reason to scowl in this.
Well, yeah, but she goes from scowl to scowl to scowl in literally like 3 or 4 shots. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
It just keeps building on the last scowl. It's brilliant.
That's June. All the June movies is just her. I don't know what Polish lady saw in her. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like she was hard work.
It's very much the case that she's there for a social media account. Is what I've always thought, and always I've seen that being talked about online, because she doesn't seem. I don't think she did a particularly bad job in this film, but I don't really know
she was on
what
unit
she
for about
brought.
5 seconds. I mean, it would occasionally cut to her and she'd say a couple of lines, and I think probably altogether she's like maximum. I mean, a couple of minutes of kind of screen time.
Could I ask
that interpretation thing? Like Athena is like a really important character in the Odyssey, and you know I can see what he did and why he did it, and obviously Paul told me to not care about spoilers, but I won't ruin it because it's like the key point of the film. So what they did also made the armor thing make sense as well, and also the PTSD angle make clear sense, like the whole Greeks dressed in dark armor rather than bright bronze. They're obviously representing the sort of darker, more eviler side of the sort of male psyche, going to war and whatnot. They do evil things and whatnot. But honestly, it's, Athena, it should have been more of a prominent character, surely, and really more of a sort of important actress or actor should have played, if you ask me. But obviously she's a massive star, is she? Or is she just a massive influencer?
I don't know. I mean, with respect to her, I just think she's an influencer. I think she's one of these castings. She seems to be in everything now. But is there anyone who's like, oh, Zendaya, yeah, I love Zendaya? Are they little girls at home with Zendaya posters on a wall saying, when I grow up, I'm going to be Zendaya? You know what I mean? No, I've not met one single person. I mean, nobody hates her, but
could I ask a naive question?
Wallpaper.
Maybe because I don't want to accuse her of scowling all the time. Does she have like some weird like hernia?
Maybe. Or she's just got an ingrowing toenail that just can't get rid of it, and she's just standing.
Yeah, no, seriously, she might have some medical condition, and it really chimes with the online crowd. But
she's in so many films, though. I mean, she's been in 2 already. She's in what's that show that's massive? Oh, slipped my mind. Sydney Sweeney. Euphoria.
Oh, yeah.
She's in that. She's in this. Then she's in Spider-Man, which is going to be the next big thing that comes along in a week or so's time, which is potentially going to knock the Odyssey off its pedestal.
Another Spider-Man. Oh,
another Spider-Man film, and then she's got June 3 at the end of the year. Like she's literally in everything. So it's one of those. If Hollywood wants you to be flavor of the month,
I wonder if it's just because of her name. She's just a one-word name, so it's like it's almost like, oh yeah, it's her. Maybe Paul. You should just call yourself Paul.
Yeah, pick a really unusual name,
or just Doctor.
The doc. But that's 2 words, though, isn't it?
Just Doctor.
No, I could allude to my Rolf Harris or Harold Shipman look-like status. I could just call myself Shipman.
Oh yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
You might get away with it down south, probably not up north.
I don't know. In the current climate in the UK, where it's not even like voluntary euthanasia anymore, it's almost enforced. I think my time could come again. Don't start me on that. Anyway, James, because I interrupted you so badly, anything else you want to say before you tell me to shut up?
Well, are we wrapping? Are we closing?
No, not at all. I've got ages.
Sound that was.
It's got half
sound like you were wrapping up.
Keep talking, got time to fill.
Essentially, it was. I was having such a good time, I didn't notice the time. Essentially, it's a film that's just really painfully annoying in certain respects. It's like I didn't really want it to be bad or think it would be bad going in, despite what my missus accused me of. And it was more the case that I was willing it to be good, and the bits that I really like, because I think Nolan is clearly a talented director, and he's got a very talented crew, and really he had a very talented cast. I still don't think Matt Damon is Odysseus. I think he does an okay job with the script and what he's given, and I think pretty much the entire cast is that way as well. Cersei, I think, was is it Samantha Morton?
Samantha Morton.
She was, I think, probably the best in this, and also Leguizamo. I thought he was really good in it as well, which normally people slate him for being terrible. I thought he was actually really good in this, and there's a lot to say. Right, there's something here. It's good. I just wish it didn't have all of the other bits that seem tacked on, and that's it really is that sort of 50-50 type film where it's like, I really like this, but this is too glaring. I can't get into it because of this. And that's the tale of the whole tape.
Some bits were unintentionally funny.
Oh yeah, there's
What's the skating? What's the skating bit? I was told was really funny.
God, it's the most unintentionally funny bit ever. Do you want to tell us?
Tell us, yes, because you got this spoiler aversion that's really beginning to annoy me.
Yeah, tell
big
me.
Girl's blouse.
Remind me the skating bit.
So it's essentially in Hades. You've got the Elliot Page bit, which wasn't too bad. It's basically Elliot Page is Achilles in that one scene. He gets to deliver the Achilles bit, kind of, because Sinon, not in the Odyssey, whatever. We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah,
but essentially, it's when Agamemnon. I can't say it today. I need a drink. Agamemnon.
Agamemnon.
That's the
Agamemnon.
Aggie.
Anybody tuning in just at this point?
Aggie, let's get a chat going.
It's the special bus.
There's a bit where there's like a really dramatic cue, like a duh, and Agamemnon comes.
Go on, you window licker.
Through.
Come on, say it.
You build it up.
This is Homer. This is Homer for window lickers. Come on.
Exactly as Stuart just did there. He
There's
glides
a meme
through the
waiting for that,
troops, and
when he
it's
hits
such
the
a
camera.
meme. It's going to be a meme. There's going to be a few in there.
Anyway, sorry, I was too busy insulting you, James. What is the actual gag where he skates?
Well, that's it. He just glides through, and it's supposed to be a dramatic bit because Agamemnon is supposed to. I got it right then. Agamemnon is supposed to be this big, intimidating, over the top, scary leader. Even though in the
is he
Odyssey
moonwalking?
that I know. He kind of is
Forward
gliding. He's on
yeah.
a dolly or something, and he's pushed forward, and it's just so because it's so quick. So obviously Nolan or his editor, they were watching it. You can't leave that in because that's just funny. That's not. But they left it in there anyway, and it's so funny.
There's a meme to be made. They need to reverse that shot and play like Smooth Criminal.
Just
a big thank you. Incontinent J made a donation. Very, very grateful for that. Incontinent J in Texas, and he made the point. I saw this. I couldn't believe it. Jonathan Pazio. Have you ever seen him online? He's quite a erudite, insightful. His channel's devoted to symbolism and literature and stuff. And he gave the most bizarre, I think this is why he's mentioning it, Jay, he gave the most bizarrely positive summary of how he thought it was a really clever, symbolically rich film. And that makes me think, one of the things I was going to ask you both about, I always feel suspicious when 98% of Rotten Tomatoes critics are saying it's the best thing that ever, was put on screen. How many
people have read the Odyssey, Paul? That's the thing. If you've not read the Odyssey, you know nothing about it, and which probably most of the world haven't. And you have to. That's one very quick point I want to make is this is such a big, expensive movie. Nolan has to make it so it will fit in every single market. He has to make something that gets past the Chinese censorship board. He has to make something that's going to do good in South Korea. He has to make something that's going to work the whole of Europe. So
except Greece.
Except Greece.
I'd love to see the opening weekend figures for Greece. I can imagine.
Apparently, people are going to see it though. Which shame on any Greek person who goes to see this abomination.
Well, apparently it's sold out in London till September.
Sorry. Can I segue now, because that's one of the crucial bits. Everyone's saying, and this is why good old Adorno and Horkheimer and the notion of the culture industry. He's got this beautiful quote, Adorno, where he says people belong to the culture industry before they join it. And it reminded me of this film. It's because so much has been invested in it, because there's been so much hype, people are saying it's done really well at the box office. But it had pre-sales that were off the scale. Yeah. So even if it was the worst film in human history, it's going to look like it's achieved a lot. Plus the fact, if you factor in IMAX tickets, correct me if I'm wrong, are 3 or 4 times more expensive.
Pretty much.
So the box office receipts are automatically inflated
Yeah.
because it was designed for IMAX.
Yeah, but I think
There's not that many
careful
IMAX cinemas, though. Yeah, that's the problem.
There's
So
that.
I think, yeah, to see it on full 70mm 15 perforation, there's only I think it's like 41 cinemas I think in the world that show it, or something high 30s. So the amount of people that are actually going to be able to see this the way Nolan intended is minuscule compared to the amount of people actually going to see it. And that to me interests me about it. I mean, it's hyped up as this come and see it in IMAX, this big IMAX film, but that in itself is a Trojan horse. The vast majority of people that go to the cinema last weekend to see it on the opening weekend, they're not going to get what they thought. But the fact is, this goes back to the culture industry and just the hype surrounding it. It's like people just become uncritical consumers. It's just like, oh, have you seen this new IMAX film? I'm going to go and see it in IMAX. And you go and see it on the cinema, and probably you're not actually seeing it the way Christopher Nolan intended. And it's such hubris, the amount of money that went into the cameras, the cost of the film stock, the editing process for editing film of that length and size and kind of format. The cost to actually make the reels, like I mean, they get almost like shipped on a truck to the individual cinemas. The print works in Manchester, Paul, where you would have seen it. There's only one projectionist in the whole of the north of England who knows how to use the equipment, and he lives in Leeds. I've met him; he's a nice guy. He has to come over from Leeds every single day to operate it. He's the only person who knows how it works.
It'd be ironic if he lived in Keighley.
Yeah.
Callback.
You'd have to change train twice.
Thank you very much. Sebastian's made a donation, and he said, I think he puts too much faith in my judgment. I've read the book, so glad I haven't seen the film, as I waited for Paul's verdict on it to save time. I also prefer my own imagination. One thing off the back of what Sebastian's just said, it is funny that when people have said to me, have you seen it? I said, no, but I'm not going to comment on the actual film bits I don't know about. But they get all incredibly defensive. And then you say, well, have you read the book? And they say, well, no, of course not. But it's worse not to have seen the film than it is to defend the film not having read the book. They don't see the irony.
Yeah. No,
They're really defensive of a film, and they can't appreciate how much cultural vandalism is involved because they've got no frame of reference, and that informs how vehemently, bizarrely, they defend the bad film from a cultural point of view.
I'm determined to interrupt you, going off how many times you've interrupted me so far, so I'm going to step right in.
Yeah, but I apologised. I apologised, and I stopped doing it.
You did it another time after that, but let's just move on.
Not that you hold grudges.
No, I don't at all. Damn it. No, what I would say is
you've broken online Xenia.
I got in trouble as well for saying that I think it's right that people have historical problems with historical inaccuracy in this film, because it's clearly set in ancient Greece during the Bronze Age, because they even mentioned this is the Bronze Age, and then someone said to me, this is fantasy, why do you care about that?
Oh, don't start me on fantasy.
I know, and I said it's not fantasy, it's ancient myth and
exactly.
Legend, and they were like, what's the difference? And I'm like, well, if you don't know that...
No, James, like, I really don't like agreeing with you, but I have to endorse what you've just said 1,000-fold, because
scratch one.
That is what I've seen on so many discussions. They interchangeably use the word as synonyms, myth and fantasy.
Yeah.
And myth is so much more. And this is my point about we live in post-literate times. If people don't know the difference, then doesn't that tell you what the problem is?
Can I play devil's advocate again? Because I like doing it.
Go on, you little devil.
I like doing it. I'm a naughty boy.
Oh, I don't say it like that.
Oh, brother. Does it get? Oh, brother, where art thou? 2000, Coen Brothers. Oh, brother, where art thou?
Good film. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's a good film. But why did Oh, brother, where art thou get through the filter when it was clear? It was a clear take on the Odyssey.
No, but it wasn't. Though, was it? It was the Devil's Advocate, and the bugger the Devil's Advocate response is, A, scrub your nan. B, no, it's an allusion to. It wasn't closely. So you mentioned James Joyce earlier. James Joyce had a schema of the Ulysses that he shared with friends. I think he had 2 different schemas that he only shared after he'd written the book. And yeah, you can see the patterns, but it's more accurate to say Ulysses, yes, the title is an obvious reference. The framework of the Odyssey was an inspiration. that he fed off.
Pastiche, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
And Brother, Where Art Thou uses it as a riff and then does a complete its own thing. And I don't have any problem with that because it's not butchering the original. It's using the original as a springboard.
Yeah.
So I'd say apples and oranges and scrub your nan again.
no, I agree. Right answer. Yeah.
There's also a lot in there of people that are going like, it's a Viking longship and all that, and I think that's all valid, very, very valid. And then to say, like you say, if they wanted to, make an amalgamation of all the myths and legends and stories in the Odyssey and then put their own spin on it, why do they call it the Odyssey? All he had to do to sidestep all of
Odyssey.
the negativity is
could have been Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
Yes, just something.
Lee Cronin's The Odyssey. You know what I mean?
This is not. Yeah, because this is such a pinnacle. Isn't it? The Odyssey is on such a pedestal that it's like if you say I'm making the Odyssey, and it's not 10 hours long minimum, and doesn't stick, in certain
doesn't have
scenes.
Sydney Sweeney as
there's no Sydney Sweeney. There's no, but even the whirlpool bit, I was like, it's just
the whirlpool was crap. Can I just say
that
was like laughable. The whirlpool was crap, and then suddenly we had some sort of CGI monster from Stephen King's The Mist.
Exactly, and Nolan, the non-CGI guy. I'm not using CGI.
Can I just make a puerile interjection here? And why change the habit of a lifetime? I hear people heckle me. But if Sydney Sweeney had been in one of the leading roles, this would just be such an hilarious discussion between the three of us. I would be defending to the death and offering to fight the pair of you, saying it was the best piece of cinema ever put on screen.
Would she have launched 1,000 ships, though?
Yeah, I wouldn't be discussing it right now. You guys, I'd be in the cinema watching it for the 10th time.
I
don't think I would have left.
I wouldn't have left, to be honest. Yeah, I would have just been in a sea of popcorn and my own filth, and I would have been bloody loving it. Play it again. Play it again.
The cleaner comes in at the end and to clean the cinema.
I'm just melted into the seat.
You're just there gooning.
What time's the next screening?
I almost fell off my chair then. That would have been embarrassing.
You've done that before, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh dear. No. Anyway, I had some really good points, and now I don't care.
Same.
Yeah.
Just thinking about Sydney, Sweden.
Let's go on to talking about going blind. Let's get on to the Cyclops.
That's the one.
Can I just share a bit of trivia?
Go on.
When I was in Edinburgh, I played a game of football for the university team against, ironically, given those earrings you mentioned, it was the local Iranian community. And the referee was retired, but he just did, non-official games. And he was the manager who sent off Graham Souness, the ex-Liverpool player, who was managing Rangers. And all this is relevant because he's refereeing our game, and he made some stupid decision. And I shouted from the back, if you had one more eye ref, you'd be a fucking Cyclops. And he booked me. And I almost tried to get sent off so I could claim I was sent off by the same referee as Graham Souness. But anyway, that's my claim to fame. What were you going to say?
That was almost a reference to the Monty Python football game, wasn't it? Philosopher's football.
Oh, yeah. What's it say? Confucius, he say, go in book.
Anyway, the Cyclops.
Cyclops, yeah. James.
This is like the old people's home. What's for dinner? Is it the green jelly?
Cyclops.
Yeah.
Cyclops.
Seriously, Cyclops. No, it was the one bit that managed to do what it needed to do and make your toes curl when they do what they do to the Cyclops. And it did do that for me. I was like,
the sound in the cinema. I've got to say, like I saw it on the picture quality is really bad. There wasn't an IMAX. There isn't an IMAX cinema in Spain. It was it looked like a 2K projector. So like DVD quality projected onto a big cinema screen. It was slightly out of focus. It was just kind of blurry, mushy. Like so it looked like one of those Lucio Fulci, Lucio Fulci, the Gormeister for like Italian B movies.
Oh yeah, what was the genre called? I've forgotten.
Giallo.
Yeah, like yellow.
Films.
Yeah, it was yellow in Italian.
You know why it comes from yellow? It's a bit like Penny Dreadful books from Victorian times. You can buy them in Italian newsagents. They're just like very gory, violent, crime novels or kind of suspense novels and stuff with garish colors, and they always came in like yellow bindings. He did this Giallo film. It was a kind of sword and sandals one, but the whole film, it looked like he just smeared Vaseline over the lens, and that was my experience of watching the Odyssey, which was a little bit annoying. But there's the bits with the Cyclops. When he stabbed him in the eye, the sound in the cinema was really good, and it sounds to be an eye, and he screams. And a lot of people online in reviews are pointing this out. That was good. That was genuinely just like the whole cinema just started shaking when he gets it in the eye, and that was really impressive.
Sorry, Stuart. Darren F. McGee. Best joke ever. Two old ladies chatting at a bus stop, and a bus pulls up. One of the ladies says, Here's the one I get." And a Cyclops got off the bus and says, "Don't be so bloody cheeky." Boom!
Nice, Darren. Fantastic.
I also know a disgustingly rude joke. I won't tell you, but the punchline is, "Wouldn't I?" So I'll leave that one there.
I'll reverse Google that one later and find out.
Oh, sorry. "Wouldn't I" is the penultimate line, and then there's a very rude final line. But "Wouldn't I" is the Cyclops-related filthy joke. But what's his name? Incontinent Jay made a point. He's talking about the Cyclops, and then I think Jay's got Tourette's, because his comment is, "My name is No Man." I actually think you could argue, I think it's translated as nobody in the Fagel, and it's interesting. One of the criticisms is just one example of how bad the Emily Wilson translation is. She says "no man" as one word, which is bizarre.
That's weird.
But anyway, so it's almost like it's, a misspelled Norman.
Yeah.
Who's hurting you? Norman.
I do, just very quickly, I do feel like reading the story about the Emily Wilson translation, I do feel a little bit sorry for her. I think she kind of went into hiding after, when it was discovered that it was kind of or supposedly like a feminist reworking. I think she got a lot of like hassle online by trolls, and she kind of disappeared into obscurity, which is I think is a little bit sad. But
she's a over tattooed fool. That's a redundant. Anyone who's got loads of tattoos is obviously foolish. But I've never understood, on a slight tangent, when she get older and everything sags. Obviously, this isn't personal sharing. Don't the tattoos just look ridiculous?
Yeah, and the color goes as well. It's basically most people in Spain are covered in tattoos now. It looks ridiculous, and it's always on the news now about people regretting that they've got it done, and young people going in to get a tattoo. Is it like laser tattoo removal? So a couple of years ago, suddenly there was like tattoo shops in every street, and now all those tattoo shops have closed, and now there's laser removal shops in every street, and it's just like, it's ridiculous.
Because my tattoos are just, if I ever had them, that I'd have random patches of werewolf hair coming out the middle of them, so that would ruin the effect.
I thought you had that inverted pentagram on your back.
We're going to say something else then.
Alistair Crowley's face on your bum. That's what you told me.
With a shocked expression.
Yeah.
Right, what are we talking about? Come on, someone. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
People were talking about Sydney Sweeney's got good range of facial expressions, and I honestly can't remember what she looks like.
Especially after that Oscar.
I don't think people understand how I appreciate Sydney Sweeney. Anyway, quickly moving on.
No, let's stay.
Before we do that,
have you seen the lingerie advert she did?
No.
I'd probably be in the cardiac unit if I had.
Yeah. I just warning you before you look at that, because you might never leave the house again.
Quickly moving on. Someone, thank you very much. Kiefer Brown's made a donation. At no point in life do tattoos not look ridiculous. I misread that initially, and I thought he was saying at no point in life do tattoos look ridiculous. And I thought, well, I won't criticise him because he's just given me £2. But thankfully, he's saying the exact opposite. So I've found out what my value system is worth. £2, apparently.
£2, yeah.
I will not insult someone who I think has said an idiotic thing if they pay me £2. But he didn't say something idiotic. He said something I completely condone.
Fair enough.
We've just lost all the tattooed people in the chat.
Yeah. Sorry all. But yeah, so the Cyclops, to bring it back to what we're supposed to be
James
discussing.
has to be all get us back on track, doesn't
Well,
he?
you know,
come on, Daddy James,
trying to
come
hit
on.
those beats for you, I'm trying to keep it moving, keep the conversation moving, keep it moving.
No,
keep it on
Sydney
point.
Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney's Cyclops.
Sydney Sweeney versus the Cyclops.
I genuinely can't remember what I was talking about now that you've said that.
The Cyclops. That's what we're talking about.
Can I share?
No, I don't want to see it.
I'm trying to remember the Fagel. Where are we?
Is that what you call it?
That's right. Book 9.
Oh.
Book 9 of the Fagel translation of the Odyssey is called "In the One-Eyed Giant's Cave."
Right.
No.
Nice.
Oh, I thought that was relevant.
What, Mr. One Eye in the Cave of the
Yeah,
Giant.
I thought that fell a bit flatter than I expected.
Well, that was too highbrow for your audience.
Yeah, definitely for me.
It was below the belt, for God's sake. Anyway, quickly moving on.
I would say that it's a worthy. Nolan is worthy of praise for that scene, is what I was trying to say, because I thought it was done okay, but I've also ruminated on it a little bit, and there are points where I need to go back and watch it now to confirm whether it's cheesy or not. Because there are points there where it just falls a little bit too. And there's a few points in the actual film, actually, like Matt Damon when he's spinning around at the end with the axes. Do you remember that bit, Stuart?
Yeah.
And
That was a change of pace. It was so pathetic. He was weedily, because he's no Superman, he's no Bruce Lee, and he's just like weedily with his axe spinning around very slowly. And it went into shaky cam. It went into the kind of the style they use in Hollywood to cover up for an actor's lack of martial arts training.
Well, it all made sense to me why he was cast as Odysseus. It was specifically for that scene, so it could become Jason Bourne in Antiquity, because it really is shot and cut like a Jason Bourne film, and it's just so weird because you don't see any of that throughout the entire film.
I was waiting for some like drum and bass music to kick in, or some Matrix sound, down, because it was
exactly that.
Totally out of place. Totally out of place.
But in terms of something that he should be praised for, I think that Cyclops is done particularly well. And this is a bit of a bone for contention, is the sirens. So I would be interested, Stuart, to hear what you thought of that scene. Yeah, I thought it was a good scene as well.
From a sound design perspective.
Yeah.
I think it's the sound design, because the whole thing with the sirens is you hear it, and you hear absolute pain and absolute ecstasy. It's like you get everything you want and everything you don't. And I just love the way when they put the wax in the ear, it just suddenly you get this like filtered kind of sound, and you're seeing from the crew's perspective.
The irony is, at my age, the wax is self-produced.
You have to take it out to hear.
Yeah, no, they'd have had to take it out so I could hear the sirens.
Well, so I thought that was particularly well done, because I thought he's going to paint himself into a corner. I mean, you're going to, if you make any kind of anything audible to the sirens, you're painting yourself in such a corner. And I thought that's an interesting cinematic way of
Can
doing
you
it.
tell me, am I right? I need to check this with you. When he's asked, what did the sirens say? In the original, I'm pretty sure you never know what they've said. But doesn't he give the line along the lines of, I was told about all the mistakes I've ever made, or I was reminded of all the mistakes I'd ever made?
He's told
Sounds familiar.
He was basically told everything that he's always wanted and he could have and all that, but then also everything that he feared the most was true, and that he heard the worst of humanity and the worst kind of things that could happen in the world. But then obviously when you get to the end of the film, you realize that basically they're probably just telling him what he thinks he is, which is a butcher and a
that's all the
pirate.
mistakes he'd ever made. That's what. Yeah. Anyway, I need to. Anyone in the chat who has seen it, if you could tell me, I'd be really interested, because that links. Because I'd done some videos on Thomas Sars, this heretic of a psychiatrist who basically said the whole of psychiatry and mental illness industry was massively over medicalized. And that seems to be, from everything I've read and been told, that is what the Odyssey, as Christopher Nolan envisaged it, is. It's like Thomas Sars's worst nightmare.
Thomas Sars's worst patient, yeah. It really is. No, that's the whole point. And I think that scene it does ring a bell now, James. It's therapy again, isn't it? It's almost like he's gone into like psychedelic therapy, and the sirens are giving him a big dose of DMT, and he sees everything everywhere all at once. Everything bad he's done, everything good he's done, and it's like kind of. But then he forgets it straight after.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's a moment of clarity. He goes through a portal. He comes out the other side, and he's clearly worse, he's worse for the wear of being through what he's just been through, but he seems to be a little bit more, his way of thinking is a bit clearer. And then he tries to play a trick on his crew. You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't learned about anything that he's done, It's a constant
That's
going
that's
back
the
and
thing.
forward and bumping on
Considering it's
the
supposed to be a
lessons that it's
moral
trying to teach
journey.
you. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, consider it's meant to be a moral journey that he's making. Is you don't get the sense that he is traumatized until Nolan really tries to shoehorn it in towards the end. Oh, this guy's fucked up.
Yeah.
This guy's seen it all. We don't see that to the end, and I do think one kind of perspective on that might be that he himself is kidding himself that he hasn't done wrong, and then suddenly he starts thinking about it more. The lotus he starts coming off the lotus, and then.
Maybe it's the notion that he's trying to get them home, because he does say that it's like I can get you home, and that's the whole point of Odysseus's.
So there's some morality
journey,
to me. He feels like he cares about his crew. He wants to get his crew, but this is the thing. This is Nolan's thing. It's like the subjectivity. Is this what he's been telling himself from the start? I'm doing this to help my crew. And then suddenly he realizes, no, I was doing this all for selfish reasons. Like every Nolan film, you need to see it more than once. I mean, when this comes out on Blu-ray or whatever streaming, then I'll see it again. It's probably going to start picking up things. I'm just like, okay, there's the connection. Because when I first saw Interstellar, I didn't like Interstellar, and then the second time I watched it, I was like, geez, this is like one of the best sci-fi films I've seen.
Well, my prediction is, and I'm famously wrong. I once met a local woman on the hill with my wife. We're going up the hill, and I looked at the sky and confidently said, "Oh, the rain's going to hold off for a good couple of hours, like old Father Time on the hillside." And we'd walk 20 yards, and the heavens opened. And this woman just looked back at us as if to say, "You absolute fool." But my prediction...
You're from around here, are you, boy?
No.
But my prediction is people will like this film less in a year or two's time than they do now. I think people are going to go off it.
It's really, really hard to say that, because I think Nolan...
I just said it was easy.
Well, yeah, okay. But what I'm saying is it goes back to what we were saying earlier about the box office. It's very... I think this film is going to do well. I think it's going to keep doing well. And I think people will see it through word of mouth, but I also think you're going to get people like me that go, maybe I should see it again to make sure that was
no,
right.
but they're two separate issues. I didn't say it wouldn't do well. I think it will financially do brilliantly. I'm saying how it will be viewed as a good film.
Do you know that thing where you interrupt people? You did it
go
again
on.
there, mate.
It was just taking so long.
I'm sorry. I like
seriously.
tangent it.
My missus is away at the moment, but that just felt like she was back in the room. It was get to the point.
Come on, I'm just in there. I'm just boring away at you. But no, it's the case that I think people will think about this film a lot. I think it will live in people's heads a lot. And I think if you love this film, it's probably because, as we've said, you've not read the original text, or you've not listened to anything to do with the Odyssey outside of this film. You probably think it's going to be great. I know a lot of people that love the last Batman film, and it's a terrible film. The last Nolan Batman film there's nothing good about it. But people love Nolan for what he does. I think people are going to love this film, and it'll be. I think people that are on sort of what our side that aren't exactly loving this film right now will probably get a few converts. But it's going to be a contentious film for the longest time, and I think that will be its legacy. I think that this will be Nolan's legacy, if you ask me. I think it's.
What did you feel, James, when you came out of the cinema, just in terms of like mood and how the film made you feel? What did you feel when the lights went, the credits went? Because it's quite a jarring, modern, kind of like an ambient track at the end of the film, isn't it? And then it kind of shows you the credits. Then the lights go, and then you see the show. How did you feel? What's the parting feeling that you got?
Well, the thing that I think everyone was in the same boat was that I'm desperate for a piss, because this has gone on for nearly 3 hours, and literally everybody was running for the exit. Nobody was hanging around for the
Odyssey at the toilet. Yeah,
that was it. Yeah, and it really was a perilous journey.
Were you at the early birds? The early bird sitting with all the old people with
no, I thought
prostates the size of a walnut.
I thought I would be.
Keep getting up to go.
No, nobody got up. Nobody got up. I was expecting.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, that's it. I think. I was sitting quite near the front, and I was a little bit worried at one point that I might get hit by an avalanche of God knows what. But it was very much the case that I think I didn't like the ending. I thought the ending was really cheap. Also, I don't know how you honor your men by sailing off into the sunset. Felt a bit cheap.
It's like Paul said. I think they just went on a cruise at the end.
Yeah, that really feels like what it is. And
they went to Venice and Barcelona and pissed off all the locals.
That's it. Honestly, the way that Odysseus just goes, right, I've done all this, and now I'm just going to bugger off, and my son can have the throne, and I don't really care about it.
Have you seen? On a completely irrelevant note, have you seen the Netflix documentary, The Poop Cruise?
No, but I'm
Poop
all
cruise.
ears.
Yeah, it was this American massive luxury liner, and they got stranded. I think it was off the coast of it was the Pacific, I think, but they ended up off the coast of Mexico or something, just drifting, and it was going to take a week or two for the actual rescue tugs to reach them, and there was open sewage in the corridors. And what made it even funnier was the entertainment director was a Scouser, the Scouse woman. So it was like, hello, everybody. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then the sewage coming down. It's laugh out loud funny bits of it. But no, it was just truly bizarre. But one of the funniest things was they initially decided to have a free bar to cheer everyone up. And after about 3 hours, it was like a scene from 120 Days of Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah. And they realised maybe that wasn't the brightest thing to do. We've still got a week of this left.
Damn.
But anyway, that's why I'll never go on a cruise, despite the fact I look like cruise fodder.
You do.
No, Paul, you hate people. I think cruise would be your worst nightmare.
I'd never leave the room. I'd have room service. I'd probably rent a cabin boy, and that would be me for the duration.
I think that Freudian slip there.
Yeah,
I knew what I was saying.
All right, okay. Moving on.
Swiftly moving on. Yeah, swiftly moving on.
Anyway, I thought you were Stuart. I thought I was going to start singing feelings when you're asking James for his feelings after the film. Had you been so affected by the feelings-orientated propaganda of the film that you felt required to ask James that question?
No, I felt it was quite a lot of existential dread at times. I mean, although there are some unintentionally funny bits. I mean, one unintentionally funny bit was the eating the sun god's cattle when he just peeps over the top. It's like meat's back on the menu. It's like, it could have been a McDonald's advert or something.
We didn't think you'd notice.
Scoffing the ribs and come on, Odysseus, I've got some good barbecue sauce here.
But that's what they said to him.
I value my life.
So they dug a pit and then they lit a massive fire in the dark, and they went, I didn't think you'd notice.
Smell of barbecue over the air. It's like, there's Odysseus.
Oh, well, that's what triggered you, isn't it? You're vegan.
I was shocked at the sight of meat. But no, I don't know. I thought it was just this feeling of like it plays things very seriously. But then at the same time, there's this kind of feeling of existential dread and a very heavy, preachy message to the film. Mm-hmm. But then some unintentionally funny bits. Just weird balance. Weird balance.
The other zeitgeist
things to all people throughout, which is just annoying. He's trying to be political, then non-political, then he's trying to be actiony, then it's not actiony, and it's drama, and it's serious, and it's it's like this.
The zeitgeist aspect I was thinking of, because I always witter on about it, is we live in a society where no one will recognise the need for consequences to their actions. And from everything I've heard and seen about the film, it strikes me that that's one of... everything in the film is designed to make you feel guilty, whereas the original Greek thing was to show you that there are consequences for breaking the rules. So in terms of, I think Nolan, for all his faults, he's very gifted at capturing the zeitgeist. And basically, we live in completely morally corrupt, degenerate times when no one thinks they should be punished for having done wrong. And in the original, Homer couldn't emphasize it more. Telemachus goes to the assembly and asks the suitors to get out of his house and does everything formally, and they still ignore him. They've had every single warning in the book. And then people are saying, it's really mean that he killed them all at the end. That was the least he could have done.
Mm-hmm. I haven't heard that, to be honest. I haven't heard that as a criticism. Is that going around, is it?
No,
well, he didn't kill all of them, did he? In the original, he kills every last one of them. Whereas in the film, tell me if I'm wrong, there's about, is it 12 or 18, whatever, survive because they take the knee, which again is the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
How you could shoehorn, you've shoehorned in George Floyd to the end of the Odyssey. Come do me a favour.
Case that it's like, give in to give in to the messaging. It felt like a very symbolic gesture, and I was like, I don't think they kneel at the end. Do they give up at the end? There's lots of that, I think, if you watch it. And I'd love to go and sit in the same theater and just watch Paul watch this film, to watch him go.
He'd get thrown out after the first 5 minutes. Yeah,
what I mean.
he'd be dragged out by the bouncer.
Because that's what I was
And
doing
if,
throughout the
if
whole
there wasn't
film.
a bouncer, they'd hire one just for that screening.
That's it. But I felt like it was
Yeah.
very much like, is that what they do? And I know, like we said, it's an adaptation, so really you should kind of give them a little bit of space to riff or whatever. But I was constantly going like, that didn't feel long enough. And where's the Lotus Eaters? And and what on earth is going on with it? Like the baby in full plate armor on what are they called? What's the tribe called again? The cannibalistic tribe.
Lastigarians.
Yes, I was like, what's the baby giggling and then screaming, and then why are they all just dressed in full plate armor, ready for battle? Were they expecting Odysseus or something? What's going on?
I think they just hang around in their armor. It's very weird. Yeah, they just hang around all day when
it felt like it. It really felt like it's like
just waiting. It's just waiting for the Nolan to say, "Oh yeah, he's coming. Odysseus is coming. Get ready. Go on, fuck him up. Go on."
They left their baby as a century. Like, what's that all about?
I need to think about that one.
Well, it's like in Liverpool when you go to the football match, little Scouse kids say, "Mind your car, mister."
Yeah.
And then there's the joke that a guy's got a massive Rottweiler in the back of his car and says, "Don't need you, I've got that." And the little kid says, "Does it put fires out, mister?"
Oh man.
But that's I think the Scousers are linked to the Lastrygonians.
Yep.
Genetically.
Yep.
Can I ask a question? Because I've only seen the trailer, but when Matt Grower Per Damon runs ahead of all his troops into battle, and he shouts, "Let's go!" Is that
they're running
bad?
away?
Yeah.
No, they're running away from the Lastigarians. He's not going into battle.
No.
He's actually buggering off.
That's from Hades. He's in Hades there, I think.
Oh, is that the one when he's running away from the?
Yeah, and he says, "Let's go!"
Yeah,
he's running away.
Oh, sorry, because it's ambiguous from the trailer. I thought he was running into battle.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like it.
So he's at the head. He's actually ahead of the rest of his men running away.
Yeah.
So he's the chief coward.
And he goes, "Let's go!" He doesn't go, "Run or get to the ship." He just goes, "Let's
get
go!"
to the chopper.
So in context, that's as bad as it looked.
Well, it's better than it looked, because it looked like a terrible charge into battle, didn't it? But no, it is actually.
No, but it's like YMCA. Let's go, and everyone runs off. That's ridiculous.
It was very much. As someone's just said in the chat there, Owen Burgess, there are a few run back to the ship moments, and it did
There's
feel
so
very
many
Benny
memes.
Hill.
Yes, someone's.
Darren said, "Run away, run away." Isn't that a Monty Python thing?
That's
I was going to say that. Yeah,
it's
going to be Monty Python. Someone's going to dub that. I think it's the evil rabbit from Holy Grail. It goes, "Run away, run away." Yeah, brave, Sir Robin.
He's pissing off, he's buggering off,
he's running away another day. He's chickening out, he's pussing out, he's fattening out, and he's brave, Sir Robin.
Very much that.
Oh, one of my favourite Monty Python sketches of all time.
Yeah,
That brave
brilliant.
Sir Robin.
Brilliant.
Stuart sings the classics.
Speaking of music, then, what did you think, Stuart, of the score then, or what you can call a score?
I don't,
because it's really weird.
Yeah, I thought is it someone Ericsson? What's the guy's name?
I'd have to look it up.
It's not Hans Zimmer. I'm a huge Hans Zimmer fan, but this guy, I think did this guy do Tenet as well?
I believe so. I'll look it up.
Yeah, this is very IMAXy. These very big, loud synth stabs, like that really bass heavy synth stabs that really kind of shake you up. I don't know. Obviously, you're expecting more of a classical score. You're expecting more of the sword and sandals. It's like kind of your mind is expecting something, and then with the modern soundtrack or it's like kind of ambient synth heavy soundtrack, it just didn't quite hit. I mean, at one bit in Dunkirk, the TikTok, I think Nolan uses a special kind of time based thing towards the end of the film where it's like all the time, the day, the week. No, sorry, is it the hour, the day, the week, and they all start converging, and he uses like tick, tick, tick,
like
tick.
Pipkins,
something like that. Yeah,
it's
I think
time.
TikTok. He does. This here, there wasn't anything that really stood out. I think the main theme was a little bit depressing and melancholic.
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything that sounded. The only sound that jumped out was just that immense bass, heavies, the sub bass, the drums, the Pongo, whatever her name is, Helena Troy stabbing Agamemnon.
It's
very
interesting
intense.
you said bass. I didn't get bass, but I watched IMAX. I wonder if there's
maybe it's just the theater I was in. But every time the Cyclops getting stabbed in the eye,
there's a lot of bass.
Agamemnon getting shanked. It was just like, and the Troy scene at the end when you actually finally see what happened to Troy, the full battle, the whole room was like shaking. It was like I almost had to kind of put my fingers in my ears. It was so intense and loud.
Yeah, it was. It was making me feel sick because my seat
I'd have
was
been sat there
vibrating.
going, what's going on?
What is it? What is going on now?
What did he say?
It's Ludwig Göransson. Sorry,
Ludwig Göransson. Yeah.
So I think he was told he's not allowed to use orchestra. He had to use things that would be in keeping with the Bronze Age. So it's like,
What, because they'd spaff so many millions they couldn't have a proper soundtrack?
It felt like
sub bass in the Bronze Age. Yeah, all these Bronze Age. Yeah, driving around with bass bins in the car, banging out the trap music.
And then obviously the rapper at the end. Sorry, I've forgotten his name.
Wasn't he at the beginning?
He's at the beginning, but he has a song at the end, doesn't he? And it's like that
he
was
lays
just
some
so.
rhymes at the end.
But it was just so like.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're just gonna. So
it would have been very 80s style, like the name man Odysseus. He's one of us. He's came from the past. Then he's come to. Would it be funny if that just kicked in?
That would have been better.
Yeah,
it would have been brilliant if Cameo had come in his red leather codpiece.
Yeah,
word up.
Yeah, that would.
That would have been the end to all ends. That would have been an amazing ending.
Yeah.
Every time you bring that up, I always think Rick James. I think Rick James would be better in that. She's a super Frank.
Odysseus, he's the one for
that's
us.
like a pub fight discussion, isn't it? Is it Rick James or Cameo?
She's all right. Odysseus isn't right.
Odysseus, baby. It was like that, just so weird, like really kind of like bang, like what is this? Oh man,
Darren F. McGee's getting all defensive about rock power ballads.
Oh no, don't get me wrong, Darren. I love it when you're not around. When I'm at home and nobody's around, I'm banging them out
in your pants
with the hairbrush.
Sorry, Stuart, could you rephrase that?
He's banging them out, mate.
Power ballads.
I almost got. I mentioned this on my. I mentioned this on my live stream. I almost got divorced because I was singing. You sing that Wet Leg song.
Nice.
On a chaise lounge. Nice. But I went around the house singing "I'm a chaise lounge" for about 2 days solid. It's a brilliant song. You heard it, James. You're looking confused.
I was just overwhelmed by P. Didius, I'm afraid. So what did you say, mate?
On a chaise lounge.
On a chaise lounge.
Guys. Right.
I don't think I know that one.
Agamemnon, pushed by
getting shanked in.
Getting shanked in Troy. Not getting shanked by Troy.
Getting shanked by Troy's sister.
Yeah.
I was trying to think.
A bit of Chris Nolan atmosphere.
Yeah.
What was Agamemnon's kingdom called? Come on, there's got to be something in that.
It's
not Ithaca. That's Odysseus. By the way, we just killed the discussion just to focus on like terrible, crappy songs.
It's Darren F. McGee's fault. He put us on the wrong line there.
No, I'm going to give it to Strats R Us. P. Didius has just thrown me completely. I think that was brilliant.
Yeah, good job on that one. Yeah, I think there could be a funny dub in the Odyssey. I think there's going to be some fan remixes with some silly voices and a lot of memes coming out of this film. There's a lot of meme-worthy material. Just so much, definitely. I'm gonna have a go. Do you want to have a go, James?
I'll have a quick go when it comes out and I can get a decent copy of it. I don't want to do no pirate-looking stuff.
Yeah.
I want to.
Well, James, our other proposal was that the three of us do dubbing, live dubbing for Japanese samurai films.
Some memories, yeah.
I'll give it a go. I don't know if I can read that fast.
Well, no, we just make it up.
Okay. I can do that.
Odysseus. You must go to Troy, Odysseus.
Oh, yes. Agamemnon.
He does so Japanese, doesn't he? Agamemnon, son.
Agamemnon.
We've just been demonetized.
Lovely.
It's how Japanese samurai film. It's the whole genre. The chambra, like it's very serious.
Yeah, especially, yeah.
Yeah.
Serious.
Serious. Bullshit.
Really
Right.
impression for offline, shall I?
Best part of the film, Stratsaros says before we go. Then, what was the best part of the film?
Best part of the film, the ending. Not the actual ending, but when it ended. No, I got to be honest. I think there's a lot of it that is very good, and that's the shame of it. Is that there's a lot of good parts.
Someone put Elliot Page dying.
Well, you don't actually see that. That's the shame of that. You know that you don't see enough of Elliot Page in it to really have a criticism of Elliot Page's performance because it's so like.
Well, how do you know they died?
Well, you don't. Apart from when you see
we
them in
don't.
Hades, you see.
I see. Right.
Sinon in Hades.
Yeah, because they come up through the ground like
spears,
Gollum. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you see the Trojans. Yeah, because it's very much like, well, did they kill her or him right at the beginning there? Like right at the beginning when they
James, use the proper pronoun, please.
whatever. Elliot Page, when they do they kill Elliot
Transphobe.
Page then? I didn't mean that was a slip of the tongue, honestly.
I know what you meant.
Did they kill Elliot? Did they kill Sinon? I'm going to go Sinon there, fine. Did they kill Sinon at the beginning? Because they say honor the god's sacrifice or whatever they said, honor the god's gift. So they didn't actually, cut Sinon's head off or whatever. I guess they just left Sinon to bleed
I think
out?
it's implied that he, she, they suffered a kind of a lingering, torturous death. It's probably taken back to
Right.
Troy and it's kind of made to suffer. I think it was implied with that.
Yeah, I think. Well, obviously, the character dies because they're in Hades, so there's that. But I mean, not in it enough. And actually, I thought Page did all right with the Hades bit because you've got to be all kind of weirded out, and act all kind of husky and weird because they're coming back from the dead. So it was kind of like that's not too bad, it's not. You got to give credit where credit's due. Not in it enough to really have a criticism for or praise for either, because it's I thought the letdown actually was Robert Pattinson, who I thought was going to be brilliant in it, and yet at the end he is solely responsible for the most funniest part, apart from Agamemnon, when I can't remember who it is throwing the swords and whatnot through the roof, and he's going, "Get the swords!" And they run over and get swords, and then spears come down. Get the swords! And get the spears. And get the shields! And then they run and get the shields, and it happens over like 5 or 10 minutes, and you're like,
Benny Hill music played though.
yeah, honestly, I was like, well, what's coming next?
It's like the Chuckle Brothers. To me, to you. To me, to you.
It really was.
There's my character in the corner going, "Get the pies!"
Get the flamethrower and the rocket launcher. No fucking
you joke, but it kind of came. It does become.
It was,
like
it was
really
that. It's not a joke. It really was that kind of jarring and takes you out of the scene.
But James,
so
this is what intrigues me. You'll make comments like there are parts that are absolutely brilliant and they're really good, and then the pair of you describing almost like faux Benny Hill skits.
Well, that's why you've got to watch it, because like I said, it's a film that's addicted to getting in its own way. It builds this immersive, like, oh, I'm really engaged in this, and then frames later, it's not like a minute later or 2 minutes later or 10 minutes later. It's frames later. It just yanks you straight out of that immersion, and it's really difficult to just sit and watch the film. I said it in my review. It really. It's just so painful in points because you're like, I want it to be good. You don't want to go to the cinema and be disappointed. You want to go and see something that's, well, you do, Paul, but that's a different, But what I mean is you go to the cinema to be entertained. You go there to watch something that you think this is worth me spending 20 quid on in the IMAX. And at points it was, at points it was really, really good. When it's good, it's really good. But there's not enough of those really good points for this to be a good film. That's why I gave it 4.5, because it's like what is done really nicely is done really nicely, but it's that immediate whip out of immersion. I didn't like the establishing shots of Ithaca because it felt like we were introducing Gotham. It was just weird. It didn't really felt like it belonged in Sword and Sandals. Telemachus I thought started badly but ended well, kind of the middle bit when Odysseus returns. That's actually quite a strong bit for Tom Holland. I don't really like the way it ended, but I don't like the change at the end, the Nolan-esque changes at the end where Telemachus inherits the land and stuff. There's
But that
bits
was that.
are
That
just
was the.
annoying.
That was the. Yeah, that was the message. It was like, oh, handing over. Yo, we old ones. We've messed up the world, and now it's up to
Yeah.
you young ones to make it right. That
Yeah.
kind of just very Hollywood. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. It's like I don't
It's
think it was a bad-
anti-boomer, isn't it? So I'm
It's
offended.
anti.
Well,
It's
it's
anti-boomer. That's the
anti-old.
message.
It's
Yeah,
anti the past. You know,
it's anti-boomer. It's anti-Trump. It's anti kind of it has a very kind of specific political stand. I don't have a problem with that personally, but at the end of the day, it's like I didn't want to see that in the Odyssey. I wanted to see something that makes me question. And I still think I've said this before in your channel, Paul. Federico Fellini's Satyricon, I think, is one of the best sword and sandals movies because Fellini specifically set out to present this idea that this has happened so long ago in the past. We don't have a bloody clue what it would be like if we were transported in a time machine. It wouldn't be like it is in a Hollywood movie. We would just be like, what the hell's going on? And it's that complete lack of ethics that we are allowed to see an approximation of what it would be like in a world where the ethics just work completely differently. And Fellini trusts us to be intelligent viewers to make up our own mind about it. If we want to be disgusted, we can be disgusted. If we want to be turned on, we can be turned on. But Fellini's not saying, here's the message.
So, Stuart, what's the difference?
The difference between
Being disgusted and being turned on.
Well, for some people, it's all in the same moment.
But I think that what Stuart's saying is mirrored by Peter Jackson and his Lord of the Rings trilogy. Not a perfect trilogy, but done in the best of intentions. I think it was done with the best of intentions, and I think you can give it merit. There's a lot that is left out of that Tolkien trilogy.
That's an interesting comparison, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's that whole thing of they left their politics at the door. They left what they wanted to see, what they wanted to see on screen. They left that at the door, and they just made the best retelling or telling of the Lord of the Rings that they could. And I don't think Nolan ever came at this with the intention of doing that, and that's why it's just so disappointing. Because I think if anyone was going to do it, he could do it. He could have done it so well. And
you know what, James? Like there was an interview last week, or maybe a couple of days ago, MSNBC, the US news channel. And from watching that interview, I got the impression that he wasn't really like into the Odyssey, or he didn't know that much about it. A lot of people were saying, he was a big fan of it, but like probably making the Peter Jackson analogy. Peter Jackson was Lord of the Rings, Tolkien obsessed, and that's why he made the movie. So he wanted to make the best approximation of what Tolkien would have wanted to see. But I get the impression that Nolan, what he keeps saying things like, I remember it from a school play. We did a bit of it in a school play. That's not like being a fan of the story. That's not being aware of the nuances of the text. So he has done his own thing within the world of the Odyssey. But he's taken something away from the Odyssey by doing that.
Yeah, no, I completely, and I think it's just the fact that there's no gods in it and things like that. You've just taken the absolute essence away from the story, and you've not really given us anything to replace it apart from American accents. And I think that's done very intentionally as well. This is very, almost talking like this is the new world. This is
it's easily translatable as well. You can go to any market in the world. You just send that very bare bones script to any translator. Chinese translation, South Korean translation, Japanese translation, there we go. It's a mass market product.
But I think that was a political point as well. I think that was like that. The Odyssey is old world. This American retelling is new world. And again, that itself is very telling and very politically charged and that kind of thing, and again at points I would say the accents, I mean mostly the accents I think are brutal. They take you out of the immersion. I think we're all as well as it is just to sort of laugh at it, but I think we've all kind of been bred to think that antiquity belongs to British accents. That's a stupid thing to say.
That's just common sense.
but you know what I mean? I think you could do it in a way that was different.
Would you like another goblet of wine, darling?
Exactly, darling. What do you mean, Odysseus? Oh, you want all that kind of like
Instead of saying let's go make haste.
Let us make haste to the ships, men. Instead it's let's go.
Let us spear the heathens.
Exactly. But I
think spear.
If you wanted to do it in a way that wasn't politically charged, that wasn't gonna, not a thumb in the eye to Greek culture and to the past, into history and all that kind of thing, just set it in the year 3045 and put it in space, and just go, this is us doing our own thing with the source material. We're having a party with it. It's going to be great. The fact that they based it in history and then they replaced, the ship Odysseus' ship with a Viking longship. The fact that there's no color and there's no bronze in the Bronze Age. Those kind of things, I think, may not intentionally be a bone for contention. They may not be intentionally. I don't want to say offensive. It's not that it's. It feels like it's a bit of a thumb in the eye to Greek culture. He doesn't seem to like the gods. He doesn't seem to like Greek armor or, even like the Greek setting. You don't really get a sense of place and time, and that's a Nolan thing, to mess with time in your film. But it just, you can't really sit with anything either. That it's very jarring and disjointed.
He wants you to know it's a movie. He wants you to know it's a Nolan movie. I think that's the thing. Is he's basically, I wouldn't call it hubris. I think that's a bit too unfair on Nolan. But I would say that this is my style. I do it in my style. It works for me. It makes a lot of money for the studios. The studios are giving me this massive project. I'm going to make a lot of money for them, and I need to do it in a certain way. But I think Nolan presents it as go ahead, James.
I was going to say, to be absolutely fair to
Odyssey,
it's that it's a disjointed narrative in itself.
No, I've got a ribeye steak marinating. I want to go and eat.
See, I ate mine earlier. See, that's what you got to do. You got to eat it before the stream. Before the stream, you can go longer. See,
you're also going to break the internet. This is going on for so long.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll stop talking. But essentially, 4 out of 10. If you want to know more about my immediate reaction at the cinema, then go to my channel. But
you said 4.5. It's now gone down to 4. If we do this for another 2 hours, will it go to 2?
No,
it's
4.5.
It's going to be a banging on the cinema door. I want my money back. I already gave it 2 hours.
So could I summarise? Because I am going to go and have a ribeye steak. This is to high culture what one of Stuart's nut cutlets is to a ribeye. Would that be a fair summary?
Yeah. So it's a vegan rehash
of
Odysseus.
Whereas we actually all should settle down for a good side of Helios cattle.
Yeah. On the bone.
Sun God cattle. That'd be great.
Yeah. Hot sauce, barbecue.
I'm going to start a brand. It's going to be Helios beef and Hades cruise liner.
Yeah, Hades hot sauce.
Hades hot sauce.
Yeah.
No, I'd love to have
It's really weird, Paul. Your camera, when you laugh, it zooms in really slowly and it's really maniacal and crazy. It didn't do it that time, but the time before it did. And every time I see it, it just makes me giggle.
Yeah. What's that Hitchcock? What's the very famous shot that Hitchcock does? Hitchcock, he does the
God's eye.
He does he zooms back and moves the focus forward. It's that's what your camera keeps doing, Paul.
It's not doing it now. You've got to do your maniacal laugh while you do it. And it comes up like that.
In a Japanese accent.
Yeah.
If I do the physical movement, Stu, will you do the Japanese laugh?
Go on.
They don't laugh in samurai films.
Yeah,
that's
they do.
Kung Fu. No, that's Kung Fu. You will never beat me. You have no strength.
I never lose.
You think so?
It's doing it now. There it is.
Maniacal cam.
That's it.
Yes. Maniacal.
So I think Laura laughs, and I think we should also sayonara.
Yes.
Sayonara.
Thanks, chat.
Good stuff.
Thank God for that.
Adios.
It's over.